Welcome to Corner Store Conversations, the podcast powered by Ravamart, the corner store that never closes. I'm Alex Bernasconi, and here we step into the heart of community, creativity, and culture. Each week we sit down with artists, entrepreneurs, and everyday visionaries who are shaping their neighborhoods and building something bigger than themselves. This is like pulling up to your favorite corner store, where stories are exchanged, ideas spark, and community comes alive. Let's get into it. That's the passion, and I just love that part of the story. So if
Yeah.
you could introduce yourself and
Yeah, absolutely.
say where you're from and a little background.
For sure. Yeah. So my name's James Carlson. I'm in Austin, Texas, originally from California, but I've been in Texas for about 12 years, but was raised in California. So in a small city called Redlands, which is located in the Inland Empire of California, um, and also known for its orange groves. That actually Inland Grove came from Inland Empire and the orange groves from Redlands. And then the bear logo came from Big Bear Mountain, which was 20 minutes away from Redlands. So we kind of just tied it all together. And yeah, I've been in tech sales for quite a while. Was in the restaurant business early on in my life. Been married for 20 years. I have a 23-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 13-year-old. Well, he'll be 13 in 2 weeks. And yeah, I started golfing about 5 years ago. It kind of came at a point in my life where I was kind of like at a fork in the road. I've always been, having kids so early. It was like being in survivor mode pretty much my entire life of like finding that balance of ensuring that like they're always good, right? Like, and like, how do I put myself in a position to best take care of them?
Mhm.
And I did that, and it's great. And like, I'm so happy that we were able to get to a point to where we're at now, but being on the back end and having like just like the 13-year-old left, and like, not that you stop parenting at 23 or 20, but like the amount of time devoted to a 13-year-old is a lot different than the amount of time devoted to a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, right? They start to become self-sufficient and their own passions and friends start to play a role in their life. And, when I found golf, it was like, it's really like challenging in the sense of like, where do you go? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue to just, are you going to lean into being an employee forever? Or are you really going to start to like scratch the surface on what you know you can do and like really bet on yourself? And being in survivor mode has been like a mentally draining thing because you go to work every day and you remind yourself like I know I can do so much more, but yet at the end of the day, like I'm still doing this because it's a hard thing to cut off. And it's a really scary thing to be able to bet on yourself in a way. And so when I found the game of golf, I was like, man, like I love this, which is great. It's the first time I love something since falling in love with basketball at the age of like 5. And so it was like as an adult, you're like, wow, that's cool to like find a hobby like that and feel like, youthful and rejuvenated, right? And then um it's like, okay, well, I've always loved streetwear and I've always loved clothing and fashion. And like, man, like I think there are some cool brands out there. And I think I can elevate it in a way where I think we can do some things that are different and like really create a community of people. And then build a company around it. And, I think the other part is like also finding a way to like kind of knock down some of the elitist walls that come with golf too, and like
Yeah.
truly make golf for everyone. I think a lot of people say it. But it's like what can we do to do those things? So like the Juneteenth tee for me was like one of those things where when we dropped that, it was like to be able to tell the story of the two golfers at the Masters and then being black and like what that meant. We know Tiger, but like who else do we know in the sport and what story can we tell and then connect the community with it? And like for us, it's really being able to get back to the game and find a way to knock down walls and give out everybody an opportunity to play. And so yeah, like we're just starting. It's been a year since we dropped our first release and excited about where we're at, but more excited about like the journey of like knowing that I'm able to incapable of like building something for myself and like continuing to bet and show myself that like I'm worth betting on and you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. So when you're thinking about setting yourself apart from other golf brands. You touched on it a little bit, but can you go a little bit more into it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard because it's like when you're by yourself doing something like this, it's like most people think like when you start a business, like you have all these resources and abilities to do all these things. But in reality, like it's hard. So like for us, like I just want to elevate everything, right? Like Kith is the inspiration for everything I do. Like Ronnie Feig to me is like the true ambassador to fashion, like the like streetwear culture and what he's done with that brand, taking it from one pair of joggers and starting it at a sneaker boutique to doing collaborations with DC and Marvel and all these other things, BMW. It's like, and so for us, like we want to be like the Kith of golf. Like we really want to have an elevated brand that can tell the stories of golf, but also not have to be um like not have to be what people think golf attire should be. Like you can have a really cool polo, but it doesn't need to be patterns of martini glasses and tacos. Like it can very much be like an elegant, like clean, color blocked polo of like a dark forest green and then a cream on the bottom with just a subtle logo, and it doesn't need to be too much, right? And you can have this like really clean aesthetic. Um, and so for us, it's like, okay, looking at the pieces of golf and like being able to put our own twist on what that would look like and then elevating it to using different fabrics. And then being able to tell the story of each release. I think that's really something that we did really well a couple weeks back. And it equated to like our first like almost sellout. Like and like for us it was like, I think the sellout game itself is just a different piece because like the goal in streetwear is to sell out of everything. But like for us, like
Yeah.
we really want to be transparent. Like, hey, we're not selling out of every release. And like that's okay. And but we're doing really well and we're on the right path. So I
Yeah.
think just continuing to kind of double down on like sticking to what and why I started this brand. And for me, it's really just elevation. So it's just continuing to look and elevate. And if we can innovate, we will. And
Yeah.
I think that we're very much on like scratching the surface on that right now. Like, and that's so to answer your question in a very roundabout way, like it's really just elevation of everything.
Yeah, that's great. So you were saying how you were in Austin, Texas. Are you guys, working with any local, like, I don't know, golfing spots or any local stores or anything like that right now to kind of get a footprint there?
Yeah, so we're in the Gulf Ranch, which is in Georgetown, Texas. It's the actually the fifth largest Callaway retailer in the country, which most
Wow.
people wouldn't know about. It's a mom and pop golf store that does everything from fittings to golf apparel. And actually, Ryan, the buyer slash owner, and I have become really good friends. He was the first wholesale. He's the only wholesale retailer we have. We really haven't figured out the wholesale side of things, like where we want to go with our business. We're working on that business plan as we speak. But really, for me, it was about being able to just kind of create brand awareness with sticking with one store, not trying to grow too fast within the wholesale side of things, and build a relationship with that to understand the business, but then also look at it from a partnering perspective. So we do a lot of different things together. It's funny, literally yesterday I was at the golf ranch with Ryan talking about like I've been trying to find a course that I can do a weekly league at to really build a community within Austin. Because one thing we've noticed is like I've done a lot of pop-ups around town, and it's something I really enjoy because it gives me the opportunity to have these types of conversations and
Yeah.
interactions with people where they can buy into me and the brand at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's such an important piece that I think a lot of people miss. Like, we have the online platform, and so people think like, hey, we can just do it all online. But man, I'm telling you, if you can go out in the community and like actually sell your brand and let people physically see it and touch it and then have a conversation with you, like you really are like you're making an impact. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot more things we'd like to do in the Austin community. It's just it's tough because you're selling yourself and your brand to these other established courses that like probably get hit up all the time about like, hey, I have this really good idea, I'd love to use your course, and it's like there's no benefit for them. Like, so it's like, how do you stand out amongst that? And so we're actually in the process of figuring out what that looks like, and kind of laying out a blue like a map of like how that can happen and what it would be.
Mhm.
But if anything, we're just going to continue to do pop-ups anywhere and everywhere we can, and then start to do pop-ups like in places where like I now have a business partner that's located in Carmel, so he's going to start doing some pop-ups in the Bay Area. And see where else we can do it. But I would say, like in Austin, like we're building a community through pop-ups. We want to find other ways to do it, but it's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. I agree with what you're saying about in person though. It's like tech sales. Like I can
Yes.
only sell so much through this. It's so much better when I get to meet someone in
Oh
person
man,
because you're just, yeah, you're 100% gonna buy. Like in person's just so much better.
it's so much better
So,
because like this is great. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
like being able to like really feel the aura of the
Yeah, meet
conversation
someone.
and the vibe and like all of that, like we really have misplaced like the value of what that actually has on things. And you're
Yeah,
right, like tech sales, like I remember vividly going into like buildings and having actual meetings at their conference, and like it was just such an
much
impactful thing,
better.
like such an impactful thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I told you I used to live in New York City. So, all the time I would email prospects and say, I can always walk down the street, come into your office, do a presentation because it's so much better. So, yeah, I don't have that anymore in San Diego, but maybe one day.
You
Um,
will, you will.
yeah. So, I don't want this to be super long, so I'm just going to kind of get down to the last couple questions I have.
Sure.
What does success look like for you in the next few years? Where do you want to take it? And when I ask this, like, have nothing holding you back. Just say your dreams and goals.
Yeah. One, thank you for that, because most people don't want you to like dream too big, because then like
Yeah.
they think like you're not focusing on everything else behind it, right? And I remember like vividly, it's funny you say that. Like I remember vividly walking into a sneaker boutique here that I thought I had a pretty good relationship with the owner, and I was talking about them with Inlandgrove, and like it was before we launched and what I was building, and I was like, man, like I want to be the Kith of golf. Like I really want to do like all the amazing things that Kith has done, and like I really want to be like seen in that manner, but also be like the Patagonia of golf in the sense where we're giving back and building like all these things. And they're like, well, first, like don't dream that big. Like don't take that big of a swing. Like first you have to do these things. And I'm just like, nah, that's not how my mind works. But like maybe that's why you're only going to stay with this one sneaker boutique. Like I'm going to shoot for the moon here. And so I think success for us over the next couple of years is really building a community first. Like I think that that's the most impactful thing. I think golf is becoming such a younger sport in a way that it never has before, and so for us to be successful and for us to do the game right, we need to invest in the younger generation to be able to give them an opportunity to play, but also an opportunity to be able to have say in like what the future of golf apparel looks like. So I think that all starts here in Austin. I think there have been brands that have done it before here for sure, but I think that there's other ways that we can do it and do it a little bit better. And then I think continuing to do it throughout the country, however we can, as we scale. I think the in-person aspect is always going to be a big piece of what we do, because I know myself enough to know that if you put me in a room with people, they're likely going to love me, and then they're also going to love the story or brand that and the story I'm telling of the brand. So it's like I need to lean into that more. So like I
Yeah.
have this really big dream of like partnering with like an RV company and like them lending me like an RV, and just me and my 13-year-old. We were
Yeah.
going to try to do it this summer, but we weren't able to get it done. But like we go across the country and we just do pop-ups everywhere, and like we on the way we do a podcast at local golf courses and interview golf pros, and like we really just go through the country an old school bootstrapped way and build the brand that way. So for us it's like, first things first, the first goal is to get to a point where I can quit my full-time job and like do this full time. I think that's like, if that ever happens, I've accomplished what I need to accomplish. But
Yeah.
knowing myself the way that I do, like it's going to then turn into like what's next and what's next and what's next. And so I think that's the first milestone we need to hit. The second milestone is being able to, employ, let's say 20 or 30 people that can just buy into the vision and also execute it, but be part of it, right? The way I look at a company and the way to run it is empowering my people to always be able to have say in how we do and what we do, letting them know like their opinions matter and like they have a choice and a say in what we do. And
Mhm.
hopefully with that mentality and that culture built, like we can continue to grow and scale. And I think brick and mortar's where I'd want to be. Like I'd love to have
Yeah.
5 to 10 stores. My goal and dream is to have one in Redlands, California, on State Street, which is like known as like the street where everybody goes to buy and have dinner, buy clothes and have dinner and do all these things. And I shot a video like maybe 8 months ago, and when I was in Redlands, they have a thing called the Redlands Bowl, and it was empty on a Sunday morning, and I went onto it. It's a huge amphitheater, and I set up a camera and brought a mic, and I like said my dream is to like host like fashion release here, like season 20, whatever it would be, and like we're doing a full fashion show, and like Pharrell Williams is there, and like all these things, and like that's what I want, like that's
Yeah.
truly what I want. I want to be, I want to get to the Met Gala of,
Yeah.
and like be the first golf brand that can do something like that. And so that's what we're shooting for. A lot to learn, never done fashion. So like I'm still
Yeah.
learning through that process, but those are the aspirations.
I love it. Don't let anyone hold you back, because
No,
your personality is already, very addicting, and people are going to follow. So I absolutely love that. And I love that you're saying this, so, it can just continue to multiply. Once
agreed.
it's out. So, as my last question, it's really just the question that I ask everyone, because you kind of already answered it. But besides your own, what is your favorite brand? Or brands, you can have multiple favorites.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. I think what got me into this in the first place is Stussy. So, like,
Okay.
growing up from the age of 7 to even now, like, I remember being in second grade drawing the Stussy logo, and like, and then like everybody has, so right, everybody knows how to draw it, and
Yeah.
like, so I think like that's a huge thing. And then and like the biggest inspiration, that's what started the whole streetwear, like LA culture vibe for me, and it started to tell the right story. And then I think, and then it's obvious, Kip. Like I just think what they do is on another level compared to what a lot of brands do. And I think for me, like when you see a brand be able to do that the way he did, like whether he had connections or what, it doesn't really matter. He still was able to take the opportunity and turn it into what he turned it into. And it's like I don't know if another brand is doing it at the level that they are from a detail perspective. And I think it's so cool to be able to tell your story through clothes, and he does it just in like a miraculous way. I mean, how many people can say they had Jerry Seinfeld as like their model of their fall 2023 catalog? Like, like that's just
Yeah.
not something you do. So I would say those are probably really Stussy's the Kickstarter, maybe Supreme and Bape at early on, but I think as I've grown and started to really become more in love with like the luxury side of things, I think Kith is really like the end all be all right now.
Got it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for, giving me an opportunity to chat with you. This has just been so nice getting to know your brand a little bit more, where you guys are going and where you are personally going. I think that you're going to be able to really reach all of those goals. And so it's going to be fun to watch and know that I got to talk to you before you were absolutely crushing it. So,
Well, I appreciate it.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this platform. Like, what a great platform to create, right? Like, I love that you're chasing your dreams too, and like doing
Yeah.
something a little different. Like, and for you to want to take the interest in like some of the smaller brands, like, it's so cool to know that we have somebody supporting us in this space, right? And
Yeah.
as you grow, it's going to be cool to see how much impact you actually have on these brands.
Thanks for hanging out at Corner Store Conversations. If today's talk inspired you, share it with a friend and keep the conversation going. For more everyday delights, follow along at Rava_Mart on Instagram and at Corner Store Conversations on YouTube. Until next time, stay creative, stay connected, and remember, the Corner Store is always open.